Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome back to another Real Madrid review. Alavés nil, Real Madrid 1. Real Madrid get the job done in not the best fashion. It was a boring game. Not uh, not a lot happened. Um, I think the key highlight of the game was Mbappe's red card, really, and that tells you how boring the game was. But look, I'm not gonna say that La Liga games don't matter because they do. We are still chasing Barcelona, and whatever it is, we still have to be chasing them. We still have to be keeping in touch with them. And look, there's still 4 points in front. Um, but La Liga games, we just cannot just give up. We just cannot just forget about this competition because we are focused on Arsenal. You know, that Arsenal game is going to be way more difficult than our La Liga games. Now, I know we have to play Barcelona, that's one. But look, in Champions League, you have to play Arsenal, and because of the situation we put ourselves in, we have to win by three or more goals. Three goals, you go into extra time, more goods. And then even if you somehow manage to get past Arsenal, which is very unlikely at this point, but I will talk about that in the preview of that game. But even if you do, you're playing against PSG, one of the most informed teams in the world right now. And even if you can overcome PSG, in the final you're probably gonna play Barcelona or maybe Inter Milan. But your route to the final to win this competition is going to be extremely difficult. It's going to be 10 times more difficult than La Liga. Now, I'm not saying that we should just give up on the Champions League, but with the situation that we're in, we're pretty much, it's pretty much impossible to win this Champions League this season. Again, you can never rule Real Madrid out, but it's really tough. It really is. So look, I'm not gonna say the full focus is on La Liga. I think it has to be a little bit of everything. And I'm not saying that we're gonna win La Liga either. We could really go trophyless this season, which in theory it isn't really true because we have won the Super Cup, we have won um, the Club World Cup as well. But look, the honor compared to La Liga, to the Champions League, to Copa del Rey, it is different. It really is. So yeah, it would be a pretty poor season by what Real Madrid standards should be, and we have to acknowledge that. But I do think that La Liga we still have to give it all to the end. Champions League we have to give it all to the end. Copa del Rey we have to give it all to the end, and just end the season strongly. Although currently, based on the kind of football that we're seeing, it's not looking great, is it? Um, but let's talk about the game. I thought Alavés came in and actually played well, which surprise, surprise, eh? A team playing well against Real Madrid right now. Yeah, but um, yeah, I thought that the game was pretty much even, to be honest. In fact, they had slightly better chances. 13 shots from them to 11 for Real Madrid. 6 shots on target to 4 for Real Madrid. Um, Alavés had 56% possession. It's not pretty. It's actually pretty ugly to be fair. But look, um, they probably deserve to get a point, if not win, and that is the hard truth, really. Um, and yeah, I mean they deserve to get something from this game, which they didn't. Um, because I just thought that they weren't clinical enough. Now Alaves don't score many goals. They're one of the lowest scoring teams as well in La Liga. Um, and we I probably wasn't really expecting them to come in and score 4 or 5 goals, but certainly they could score 1 or 2 goals. And were Real Madrid going to be able to score 3 or 4? No. So based on that logic, it was probably going to be a draw or even a defeat. But yeah, just not clinical enough from Alaves, and in the end, Real Madrid just able to hang on. But just want to talk about the goal first. That was probably the only moment in that game when I thought Real Madrid played good football. You know, Arda Güler gets the ball, a nice uh, forward pass from Camavinga, and then it's a beautiful one too between Camavinga, Valverde, and Valverde, who passes it back, drags the defender out of position, opens up a bit of space for Camavinga to shoot, does take the shot, good finish, great goal. All in all, great team coordination to get that goal. And then it was up in the high, Real Madrid take the 1-0 lead, the momentum swing, can they push for that second goal, maybe get a bit of cushion. And then literally after 3 minutes, Mbappe goes and does something stupid, which was literally, he did not attempt to win the ball, he clattered Antonio Blanco. Um, and, that could have really been an ACL, really. I'm not sure if Antonio Blanco is, um, very, very severely injured or anything, but that was a really nasty tackle. And look, I'm a Real Madrid fan. I'm not going to be biased. However, I'm just going to say the truth. That really does, if you think about it, it does deserve more than a 1 game ban, which it has been given, that 1 match ban, but it should be minimally 3. It could have been 4, 5, 6, really, to be honest. And would I want that? Obviously not. I think that Real Madrid's best attacking player this season has probably been Mbappe. 33 goals in all competitions. That is a very, very good tally. But I really thought that, that would have been a 3 match suspension minimally. So to say, you know, we got away with it is obviously an understatement. But look, I think that that was a really, really awful challenge, really is. And obviously, I've seen people obviously trying to go in Mbappe, and obviously, look, was it intentional? I think he was frustrated. Yes, I think it was intentional, and I think that that should not be part of his game. I don't expect that from a professional, one of the best players in the world. I expect much better in terms of that behavior. So certainly, um, a very, very, very disappointing one, really, because obviously not only has he gone and done that, the team are down to 10 men for about 60 minutes. So, yeah, very disappointing on Mbappe for that one. Um, it really was. And yeah, the second half was probably the most boring second half. I was watching Formula One. I mean, this game was at the same time as Formula One, and I was just checked out. Didn't bother because Alaves just sort of looked happy to just sort of wait for little moments. Real Madrid were happy to just sort of not go for it for the second goal, and obviously we were being pragmatic. We were obviously trying to protect that 1-0 lead with 10 men as well, so it was tough to get anything going in the attack, and it was just a waste of time for anyone who actually watched that game like live, and going down to the stadium to watch. It's a good experience, of course, but look, I just think that that was a waste of 45 minutes. Nothing much happened apart from the red card for Manu Sanchez. I think it's not as bad as Mbappe's, definitely, but yeah, definitely a red card. And I thought the referee was shocking. I mean, both decisions were red cards. Obviously, Mbappe's was more clear cut, but he had to go to VAR for both. And I think both were straight reds, to be honest. So, yeah, pretty much a poor decision, but I think Mbappe will miss one game, so he will miss Athletic Club this weekend, upcoming weekend. So, um, yeah, could have been a lot worse, should have been a lot worse, but I suppose we get away with that. But just to ride through the team, I thought Courtois had a very good game. Um, Back in La Liga games, a clean sheet finally after what 9 games I think it was. The stat that I read. Um, Thibaut Courtois is the best goalkeeper in the world in my opinion. Um, he's massive. Um, Defensively, nothing great to be honest. Obviously, I actually thought Raul Asensio was pretty good. Should have really scored his first goal for Real Madrid. It was disallowed because obviously Rudiger was pushing the keeper, which for me was the right decision for it to be disallowed. Um, the midfield, Camavinga starting playing the full 90 obviously makes sense. He's not going to be involved against Arsenal. Obviously, he's suspended. Um, Valverde, obviously good assist, good link up play. It will be intriguing because I think we still need him at right back against Arsenal. But he's set wise because you are taking his midfield brilliance and putting him at right back. But now that Ceballos is back, you have to go Ceballos, Bellingham, and Traoré for me. But let's see. I thought Adagula was pretty good. Sometimes I just don't get this glazing over him. I think he's a young player. I think he does deserve minutes. He does deserve to start more. But this sort of glazing over he's the best player in the team, that sort of thing, just doesn't make sense to me. He played well, contributed to the goal, and deserves more minutes. Simple. Rodrigo was quiet, couldn't really do much on the left hand side, didn't really do much. And Mbappe was poor. Um, didn't do much, got a red card, made a very bad tackle, and yeah. Um, Bellingham, Vinicius Junior, both rested, came on, got some minutes. Ceballos came on after his injury, so that's good. Brahim Diaz came on, didn't do much. So, yeah, look, all eyes on Arsenal, but are we being a bit too optimistic? Who knows? But let me know your thoughts are down below. Hope you guys have enjoyed today's video. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe to channel on already, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.